It's Monday, October 20th, and last week we touched a real nerve with viewers when Jim Cramer and I talked about the new age of the Great Freeze.
This is the closest we've come to 1929.
The world economic crisis is changing the way we live.
We are entering a new period in history.
It is the Great Freeze.
People must stop doing what they've been doing. They must not shop the way they've been shopping. They must not eat the way they've been eating. They must not go out the way they've been going out. These are un-American, but it's the new America.
But can the American dream ever really be frozen?
Do anything to preserve the American dream.
Tonight, America answers back. Next, viewers sound off.
Ren in California, though, you didn't like our advice for them.
I did not, Donnie. I was really actually very disappointed in you and Jim.
And help is on the way.
All entrepreneurs that have that spirit that they're not going to give up and that they are going to succeed, they get more creative.
And later, the survival plan that starts by protecting your Main Street money.
We're out of time now. I'm looking 6 kids in the face, and failure's not an option here.
Well, times are hard. We all know it. We're not going to sugarcoat it here at The Big Idea, but we're going to fight our way through it together. I am so proud of our viewers. Our big network, they rallied a new battle cry. And rally you did when you didn't think last week's advice for the Miller family was on point.
We started the business back in March, and we started off with a lot of enthusiasm, and working together with my wife was just a joy, being 24/7. And we have just seen things in the last 30, 90 days just fall apart.
I think you fight to the bitter end with the idea that perhaps I'm wrong and you're wrong, and this can end, this morass can end in our country. But when you get to the bitter end, what you have to do is recognize defeat. It is not worth getting the second mortgage. It's not worth dropping your health care. It's not worth those things.
The problem you have right now, you're selling kind of an added value service, a kind of what I'll call a lucky strike extra that companies are kind of, it's the last thing they're doing right now. So I think you should be paying attention to what we're talking about tonight is right now kind of maybe put that business a little on hold. Doesn't have to go away forever. But let's get him right back here. I got Bob Miller on the phone. Bob, I know you wanted a chance to speak after the show last week. What do you got to say, sir?
Well, the show has been, I think the show has been really great for us, and to form a new attitude. What happens is as things have gotten worse and bad over the last 30 or 90 days, the show gave us a new life, a vitalization, so to speak.
How did it do that?
Well, just by being hearing the callers, hearing the feedback that I'm hearing today from people calling me that know me, and it's a new attitude, it's a new freshness, and we're kind of readjusting or adjusting, as you say, and we're trying to take our business into maybe markets that were and opportunities that would maybe not yield as much margin dollars.
That's all. I love to hear that. It's interesting. So many people were so upset, going, "Oh, Donnie and Jim, you're raining on everybody's parade," and here you're a guy going, "Wait a second, thank you," because all we were saying is, "Hey, look, we're all about the American spirit. We're all about winning, but you got to understand right now we're living in a world that people are going to really be contracting, that anything that's kind of extraneous is going away, and whatever your competency is, you got to adjust to that, and it's not just always full steam ahead, though." Speaking of full steam, though. Dave Anderson is the founder of Famous Dave's, 120 restaurants, $400 million a year in sales. And, you know, the Millers are doing the big adjustment. You're a guy that is kind of always full steam ahead in your own way. So what do you want to say to the Millers? How do we help them?
You know, I think everything that's been said is exactly right on. You know, whenever we're faced with adversities, all entrepreneurs that have that spirit that they're not going to give up and that they are going to succeed, they get more creative. And perhaps you come up with a cookie that's all about happy, you know, these are the happy cookies for their clients, for corporations. These are cookies for down times. Give your customers these cookies that will you know, create some energy and create some positiveness.
Dave,
These are
along those
cheerful cookies.
Dave, let me ask you, you got a barbecue chain, okay? You got, you know, 120 stores. Tell me what specific...
170, actually.
170,
We've been growing.
I'm sorry. Tell me exactly what you're doing differently now in this new age to not only survive but flourish. Give me 3 specific things you're doing.
Well, first of all, we had to recognize that we couldn't do things like we always did. And critical to that, we have a brand new CEO, Christopher O'Donnell, and we are going forward with a mantra of change, being flexible, and innovation. Famous Dave's is really gearing up to be a whole different company in this next coming year. We are paying more attention to our food, better tasting food. We're really paying attention to our customers and our guests. But I think the critical thing about all of this is that we realized that we couldn't live in the past. We had to recognize that we are in a whole different market economy, that Famous Dave's, if we're going to be around, that we have to be about flexibility. We have to get back to the basics. And even at Famous Dave's up in Hayward, Wisconsin, the original Famous Dave's, at the beginning of the year, we were down 5 to 10%. But we said, we're going to fight this thing, and we're not going to let this thing get to us. And so we regrouped, we retrained our employees, we changed our music, we got more upbeat.
I love that. Even something as simple as changing your music. Dave, I love what you're doing. Bob Miller, I think you're ready to go, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, when we come back, protecting your Main Street money.
I had attention deficit disorder and could never figure out why I could never really do as well as the other students in class. And it wasn't until years later that I realized that my grades had nothing to do with what I could do in life. And then ever since then, it's been onward. I loved barbecue. And once I kept that passion front and center, it didn't matter what anybody else said, whether I was going to succeed. What mattered most was I knew where I was going in life.